Welcome to the next installment of Modest Means. Today we're doing a headlight upgrade to our 2000 GMC Safari. We will be installing the Sylvania Silverstar halogen light bulbs, low beam and high beam, the 9006XS, which is the low beam side, and the 9005, which is the high beam side. For this van, you have a total of 4 bulbs, 2 low beam and 2 high beam. They gave you a ton of paperwork with the bulbs, and they are quite expensive, but everyone assured us that they are quite well made, long lasting, and extremely bright. This is the brightest that you can go and remain street legal. The store manager at the local auto parts store also suggested registering your bulbs online with Sylvania in case you have an issue. The manager said that they were very liberal with their replacement policy. Be sure to register them online, and if you have a bulb failure, chances are very good that they will send you a free replacement. In addition to the bulbs, it was suggested buying the halogen installation kit, which has a nitrile glove and dielectric grease. Very important you do not touch the halogen bulb with your bare hands, because the bulb will crack if you do not handle it properly. You'll need a couple of tools, in fact 4 of them, to accomplish the job. Very simple. You'll need a small screwdriver, you'll need a ratchet, an extension, and a 10mm socket. Is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. A little roll of tape. Black electric tape would be ideal. Add a piece of black electrical tape to the side marker. When you unbolt it, this will keep it from falling and hitting the ground. Remove the 2 top bolts. All of the bolts, all 4 of them, are the same length and the same diameter. So if you mix them up a little bit, it's no problem at all. This is the bolt that you will need to remove next. It's the bolt that holds the marker light in place. And again, make sure that you use a piece of tape to hold that, otherwise it'll more than likely hit the ground. There we go. Very carefully not to drop the bolt. We've removed the bolt. Let's move that out of the way. That's going to expose your last bolt that you have to remove in order to get the headlamp assembly out. There we go. Again, try not to drop the bolt. Once you have the 4 bolts removed, simply grab the headlamp assembly, pull it towards you and a little to the outside of the vehicle, and out the assembly will come. Keep in mind that the high beam is on the inside and the low beam is on the outside. Another really nice break was the fact that after we had removed the assembly from the body of the vehicle, there's enough room to set it on this ledge. Let's use this kit. Let's see what they have as far as the glove goes, see if the package actually opens. Yeah, it does. Okay. There's the little glove they give you. And this is the dielectric grease, or bulb grease they call it. In order to remove the bulb, twist until the tabs line up all the way and pull the bulb out. Again, we're going to hold the bulb with the gloved hand. This is the old bulb, I know, but we want to get in good practice. Take your small screwdriver and lift up on the two tabs here. Takes a little finesse. And disconnect it. One more try. There we go. We'll put a little bit of dielectric grease in. Try to keep it fairly neat. I wasn't really impressed with how that turned out, so I simply pressed the dielectric grease into the socket. Now we're going to take our high beam bulb and be very careful we don't touch the glass. Not only am I wearing the glove, but I'm also doing the old school Kleenex tissue. We're going to plug the bulb in, high beam, snaps in place. Again, being very careful we don't touch the bulb. We're going to drop the bulb into the assembly. We're going to line up the tabs, press down, and turn until it locks in place. Okay, now it's time for the low beam side, the outside bulb. Now the removal of this one required a little assistance from the small screwdriver by lifting up the tab right here and turning until the bulb is free. Got it. Again, for good practice, we'll hold a Kleenex over, handling just the plug and not the bulb itself. We'll lift up the tabs and unplug the bulb from the wiring harness. Be careful not to break the tabs from your harness, and it does take a little bit of effort to pull it apart. Let's apply a little bit of dielectric grease. Try to keep it as neat as possible. Kind of force it in a little bit into the socket. Now we're ready to install the low beam bulb. Here is one of the biggest challenges that I have found with this project so far, is getting the box open without damaging the bulbs. Really crazy. There's got to be an easier way, but I did not figure out how to do that on the last one. So let me show you what I came up with. This is the 9006XS. This is going to be the low beam side for installing on the outside of the headlight assembly. So what you want to do is start by taking the packaging apart, the cardboard portion, the outside. Get this off. Let me mention too, it really is very helpful to mark low and high on your packaging, just to keep it straight. Also on the bulbs, the plugs are different. The low beam side, this may be very hard to see, has a single channel for the plug. There's two prongs, I know, but it has a single channel. The high beam side has a dual channel inside the plug. So very simply put, you cannot plug the high beam into the low beam socket or vice versa. Now back to the packaging. Paid nearly $30 per bulb. Man, you don't want to mess these up. So you get the cardboard off of the packaging, and on this one it's clear. The other package had a white tab. So take the glue off, the stickum, get it off on both sides. That should free up the box to pull apart. And like I said, there's got to be a better way to do this than what I came up with, which was basically to just kind of crack the box open. There we go. Let me know if you have an easier way to open these boxes. Sounded terrible. I think I'm alright. We're ready to install, and you could see on the bottom or the left hand side of that bulb socket the single channel I was telling you about. So you want to make sure that you have the orientation for the bulb socket and your wiring harness going in the same direction. Let's install it. We're still being very careful, holding the base of the bulb basically with the glove and the Kleenex. We'll take the wiring harness, the channels line up, plug it in until it snaps in place. Beautiful. Okay, we're ready to install the low beam bulb. Put it in place gently. Lower it down inside the assembly until you get all the tabs in flat, and turn the bulb until it locks in place. You may have noticed that this is a straight shot for the wiring harness, where the previous one was at a 90. So now we're coming straight into the bulb instead of a 90-degree into the bulb, which when the headlight assembly is in place, the wiring will come up from underneath, and now we're coming straight from the back. So when we put the assembly in place, we want to make sure that we're not rubbing the body pieces here. It clears very nicely, even though it's a little different than the 90 being the straight shot. It definitely clears. It doesn't look like any of the wires are going to rub the body. Always good when installing parts to ask yourself questions. Double check. Make sure the parts store didn't sell you the wrong part. The manufacturer changed something that might need a little modification. Just double check to make sure you haven't put yourself in a position where you're going to have a problem. Let's button this up. The 2 bolts on the top, and don't put them all the way down. Just get them started. We want to leave the assembly with a little bit of play. After the top 2, then this one should go. This is really a foolproof system. Let's bring the marker light in to position. Okay. Black tape on the body. Hold it in place. There we go. Let's be sure to tighten this up. We don't want to kill it. We want to make sure we got it tight enough that it's not going to fall off. Just snug these down till you feel comfortable. Don't want to crack anything. That's good. Let's see if it works. As I've explained in other videos, whenever you're working on something that has a match, a pair, do one side at a time. That way, in case you run into a problem, you'll know how to solve it or how it was assembled. Or in this case, how it operates. We did all the work on the left-hand side, the driver's side, and we left the passenger side alone. Right now, we're on low beam, which is still the outside, as I have described on the other side, on the left-hand side of the vehicle. Now when we switch it to high beam, there you go. High beam is on, low beam goes off, is negated. And then when we go back to low beam, hey, the high beam is negated and the low beam side, the outside, stays illuminated. So there you go. There's no guesswork. That's exactly what we're getting on the left-hand side of the vehicle, same as what's on the right-hand side. So always good. Just do one side at a time, be it front-end work, brake jobs, headlamps. Do one at a time, and then you can rest assured that it's functioning properly. Or if you get lost, you could take it apart and see what you missed, what step, that sort of thing. So anyway, there you go. We'll show you a little view of the improved headlights tomorrow morning. Get up real early, take some shots there in front of the garage door, and let you guys see the difference between what we had at the beginning of the video with the original bulbs and with the new Sylvania Silverstar. Thanks for watching.